If you guys enjoy Oculus Quest 2 content or Zenith content, then subscribe to this channel as we continually make videos on both. Hello and welcome back to Quest World. Today we will be covering Zenith one more time for you guys, but with a bit of a twist on what we normally do for our videos. Seeing how the Alpha 2 is coming up, I would like to do a 5 things we would love to see them do before Alpha 2, or at least after Alpha 2. So really we'll just be talking about 5 different things that they either haven't addressed recently that they would be adding to the Alpha 2, things that we would still like to see in the future. So without any further ado, let's just log into the video, guys. Number 5 on today's list is going to be flying combat. Now they did mention that they would be having some flying missions, but they never said there would be a better flying combat or flying combat missions per se. And what I mean by this is just the ability to fly in and use your extreme aerial movement to dive in and deal damage to enemies, obviously, and attack, but because a lot of this stuff is basically free movement, like with the swords, you could fly in and do some pretty cool attacks and things, I think. And when I was playing as a mage during the Alpha 1, I actually kind of made it my business to be an aerial combat kind of player, because not only did I feel it set me apart a little bit from the other mages, it actually was quite advantageous because you could teleport to high areas and then just fly down and start attacking things with your guns, because you could kind of like fly in and shoot at the same time. If they created some missions around that, it would be pretty neat to see. Plus, the Sword Masters could kind of fly in and do or the Blade Master could fly in and do a strong attack of some kind. It would just be pretty cool to see. Number 4. For number 4, I would like to see the third class, or at least a better hint towards what our next class is going to be. We only have the Essence Mage and the Blade Master available. However, I really want to see what they ended up picking for that last class. Were we getting a rogue? Were we getting a sniper? Were we getting an archer? It would be nice to know what that last class is, because then we could start theorizing about at least what power sets you would have, how it would clash or work well with the rest of the game. I always thought it would be cool to add some sort of treasure hunter class, because I did a whole video on that actually one day during my Alpha 1, where I just hunted down treasure and leveled up that way. It would be really cool to see some form of rogue that could find the treasure easier than the other players, maybe, or maybe they have like a treasure sense or something, and maybe a grapple gun to where they can grab onto the high rocks and pull up to them. Either way, some sort of third class reveal would be great at this point. Number 3. This one can go either way for you, but for me, I would really like to see the cosmetics unlocked a bit more, if you will. I just mean this by, we haven't seen much of what the actual characters are going to be looking like yet, so it's really kind of up in the air, and I understand how that's not extremely important for an Alpha 1 or even an Alpha 2, but it would be nice to know what the final characters are going to start to look like, as they kind of already told us the characters we've been given are nothing what the end characters are supposed to look like. We're supposed to have a lot more options when it comes to customization, but I would really like to see what kind of armor sets and what kind of weapons they plan on using, because that's not going to be a customization option more than likely. That's just going to be things that you pick up and find in the game, and I would love to see at least some of the artwork or something that would hint towards what we'll be able to use later down the road. Number 2 on today's list is going to be the map. Now, we have seen a little bit of what Zenith has to offer, but to be honest, it's really not that much in comparison to what they have planned for us to be able to play and see in the final stage of the game being made, because they have already showed us some of the maps, sure, but they still have a ton of instance dungeons that we haven't even got to explore yet, not to mention all the extra areas that remain hidden on the map that we were presented with a few months ago. It'd be really cool to know more about maybe the backstories of some of the lore on the map, but for sure I just want to see how big is it going to get, because so far as a game that's going to be native to the Quest, this will give us a good idea of how big can games be on the Quest. And Orbis gave us some idea, but I felt like the maps were looping too much in Orbis for them to actually give me a good idea of how big can a VR game get. And Zenith has some pretty big plans on how big they're going to make their map. Number 1 on today's list. A while ago, they did a little survey to ask players what would we add to the game. Similar to this video, I suppose, but in a more formal sense. And in every single box that it allowed me to suggest something new, and also the other players that I have on my Zenith team all suggested that we need a freaking jump button. A jump button is so required for just about any game, especially where you're hacking, slashing, you're kind of moving your body. I really feel like you need a better movement option. Now, as a mage, and when I played, I had the teleport option, and it was not bad. But when you're running over a terrain that you're clipping on occasionally, you need to be able to jump to remove yourself from that poor terrain or that glitchy instance. But there is no jump button. So when I played as a Blade Master, I was literally just screwed out of being able to do anything, and even in some instances having to reload. Now, once again, I know this is an alpha, but I digress. A jump button is required in a game like this. I really feel like it is. However, this is just an opinion. Maybe you played Zenith and you got by fine without a jump button and you don't really think it needs it, but I've played a lot of RPGs, action RPGs, hack and slash, etc., and just about every time for me, the experience was definitely better when they added the ability to jump. Even if it's a short, very low height kind of jump, just the ability to unclip yourself from anything that is clipping you. That is going to be it for the 5 things I wish they would add to Zenith. They were all really just my opinion after playing it in the first alpha of things I really hope to see and things that have not been addressed in the recent discussions about the game via the Discord and the website, and of course all the other social media outlets that Zenith uses. Hopefully I will see you guys during our Zenith Alpha 2 week. We will be making plenty of content then. Make sure you stop by and check it out. Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed that video and found it informative, but if you want to join the conversation, then come on over to our Discord, Facebook, or Patreon. Thank you for watching, and please keep watching, guys.